Every week, I fly back and forth to Houston. Almost without exception, every time I'm on an airplane, either the captain or a flight attendant will come up to me, will hug me and say, thank you for fighting for us. Because I'll tell you, United Airlines, sadly, Houston's a hub of them, has fired thousands of pilots and flight attendants. What difference does it make? We're in the District of Columbia right now. There are mandates affecting kids in D.C. This is wrong.
That is Ted Cruz, and he is genuinely expressing emotion that he really feels. Am I not being passionate now? Do I not inspire you? Now, clearly he's lying. We're gonna get into a fact check about the actual claims he made about people being fired from the airlines over vaccine mandates and things like that. But let's pause briefly on the more fun lie, Jordan, which is that he is constantly being beset on his flights by flight attendants and pilots who not only want to thank him for being such a fighter, but that they can't help but hug him. Ted Cruz, who has never had a consensual hug inside of his own nuclear family, is just fighting off flight attendants left and right. What do you think?
Yeah, true stories that definitely happened with Ted Cruz. It's just, yeah, I'm sure, man, for sure. Every time, like pilots are hugging him.
He takes photos sometimes. They're right out of frame, but they're there. Yeah. They just hugged him, actually.
Oh my goodness!
Why so fake? Why can't people see through it with the way that he's talking and the slapping and everything? Like, he's watched humans for 50 years at this point. He hasn't absorbed any ability to like impersonate the things that he's seen genuinely. Anyway, the more important lie, of course, would have to do with the claims that he made about vaccine mandates, and I get why he's making them. This is trucker convoy season. This is the time for right-wing politicians to performatively pretend that the vaccine mandates both existed and were really arduous. So he implied that thousands had been fired from a particular airline, from United. Now, at one point, nearly 600 United airline employees were facing termination because they were saying they were not going to comply with the vaccine mandates. In the end, 232 people ended up being fired. I'll even be generous and assume that they were actually fired for that reason and would have otherwise wanted to keep their job. I think that is extending goodwill that is not necessarily warranted by the situation, but I'll do it. Here's the thing, that's not thousands. In the end, over 96% of their workforce like fully complied with the vaccine requirement. And we'll get into an interesting side effect of that. But first, Jordan, what do you think about the lie about the mandates?
Well, it's like this is an example of these extremely vocal minorities demanding and garnering more attention than they actually warrant. The trucker convoy in Canada and now this like makeshift attempt at a recreation in DC, which just read, they're not even heading out today, which mostly consists of them just doing circles because it's raining. It's not happening here. But in Canada, a vast majority of truckers were vaccinated, didn't care. The union itself condemned it. And these are just springboards for larger right-wing grievances. That's all it is. Because what they're mad about here isn't happening. Like you could just get tests repeatedly if you want to not get the vaccine. Like you said, you're extending extreme goodwill to people who might not, deserve. As a very generous description of the people who were fired. But no one was like forcibly injected with the vaccine. There were like all these other alternatives, and they're misleading people to try to continue to piss off people, increase tensions, and get people riled up over something that really isn't happening.
Yeah, and bear in mind, we're talking about people on planes in small areas with oxygen being recirculated and all of that. The idea that they will not take it seriously even there. And that is why it has never made sense to accept virtually anything the right wing has said during the pandemic about tyrannical restrictions. They don't care about any of this in any situation. By the way, when United Airlines did what they did, do you know the effect of it when they got so many of their employees to be vaccinated? So at one point, the CEO said that before the vaccine requirement, 1 employee a week was dying of COVID. Eventually, that headline, by the way, came 8 weeks into the mandate and they had not had a death. So it is actually saving a measurable number of lives. Don't forget that. Don't also forget that while things are improving right now to catch us up to the present, we're still in a pandemic, everyone. If you take a look at these numbers, we are very lucky that the case count has plummeted so much. It's actually down not only to lower than it was in the immediately preceding the most recent wave, but it's getting down to the level it was preceding the wave before. Now, the number that goes down, that line can go up in theory. And as of right now, we're still losing close to 1,500 people a day. So bear all that in mind. We are in a much better position than we were a month or two ago. Still in a pandemic though, so don't let anyone make you feel bad if you decide that you want to wear a mask or socially distance or whatever. But Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, I still wear my mask. They've lifted the restriction where I live, and people don't wear their masks at the gym anymore. But I'm still wearing mine out of an abundance of caution, and especially on flights. Like I want, when I get my drink and snack and free hug from the flight attendant, mid-flight, I want to make sure that they're, wearing a mask and vaccinated as well. I want that protection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.